Right, welcome to this Warhammer 40,000 battle report. Today we have Cleanse and Control as the mission with Dawn of War deployment. It's 2,500 points of Josh's Iron Serpents. That's the Space Marines using Iron Hands chapter tactics. And against my Blood Angels. We're giving the Space Marines a send-off with the Royal Codex. They haven't featured on the channel yet, so we thought we'd give them a go. Josh wanted to take on the Blood Angels today, so this is today's table. We haven't rolled for sides yet, but we have objective 6, 5, number 4, number 1. I thought that was 3. Number 2 is just around the back of the refinery, and number 3 is on top of the outpost there. So that is the table. We shall see what happens between the Iron Serpents and the Blood Angels today. We'll now take you through the armies. Right, so this is today's Baal Strike Force. I'm going with this for the +1 initiative on the charge. So the HQ is a chaplain with a jump pack, and the Lord of War slot is taken up by Commander Dante. He has Descent of Angels as his Warlord trait, and I've also rolled 1 on the tactical as he is allowed to do that. I've gotten the one where I can discard 2 cards per turn. They are going to be arriving with 9 Death Company. 3 of them have power swords. We have 2 5-man tactical squads, each with a melter. We have 2 5-man assault squads with 2 melters in each, and each of the sergeants has a furnace pistol. That guy, although he has a plasma pistol, it's an Infernus, and that's not a power sword. For the other elite slot, we have the Death Company Dreadnought with a melter gun and blood talons. He's in a drop pod. Those 2 guys are in drop pods, and those 2 have free drop pods as well, so that's 5 pods. For the heavy support, we've taken the Fire Raptor with the auto cannons, and as you probably guessed, Spearhead Assault Squad or Strike Force, whatever it's called. We've got 3 10-man tactical squads. 2 of them have heavy flamers, all 3 of them have melters. The sergeants have no upgrades. For the Storm Ravens, we've got 2 with assault cannons and multi-melter, and the Death Company one has last cannon and multi-melter. All of the drop pods that are here just have storm bolters as well. So that is the Blood Angels force today. That's 2,497 points. We'll now move on to Josh's force.
Okay, so this is the Iron Serpents army today. As Warlord, we have a captain with the Incandescent Blade and a Storm Shield, even though that's quite clearly a Blessed Cannon. He is with a Librarian who has rolled Iron Arm and Enfeeble. Just Sword and Shield. They are with 5 Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators in a Land Raider Crusader. I also have 3 10-man tactical squads with each with a plasma gun and las cannon. Vindicator, Predator, Soldier Scene, same with the Storm Talon, Storm Raven, Imperial Knight, Cadmus, courtesy of Harry. Also have a Dreadnought in a drop pod. We have an Ironclad with a melter gun and a heavy flamer. My Warlord trait was a 1-use only Furious Charge, and I'm feeling somewhat outnumbered.
Right, so Josh has elected to deploy first as he won the roll-off. He's elected to go first as well, so his deployment, he's got the plasma gun team there, the las cannon team there with the Knight held right at the back. He's got the Vindicator and the Predator. He's got the las cannon team there and the plasma gun team surrounding the Predator to give it some cover. Land Raider here with the Terminators in it and the plasma gun team around the back, and the las cannon team up here. In reserve he has got the Storm Raven and Talon. The Talon's escorting the Storm Raven on, and he's got the Dreadnought in reserve as well. Meanwhile, my deployment, you probably guessed already, nothing. Josh elected to go first, and you know what? I'm going to give him the first turn. So we'll come back after Iron Serpent, turn 1. Right, so Josh has drew Secure Objective 3, Secure Objective 1, and Harness the Warp. As you've seen, his Librarian is in the Land Raider, but he can cast Blessings. Josh is elected to do his entire turn, So nothing has moved apart from the pod got a direct hit here. The Dreadnought moved 6 and then ran to get secure objective 1. And in the psychic phase, he's cast Hammer Hand and Force on the Librarian. So I think he's expecting the assault this turn. So Josh has scored 2 points immediately, so that puts the score at 2-0 to the Iron Serpents. Right, so I've drew secure objective 3, Decapitating Strike, and Kingslayer. I've rolled for the Storm Ravens, and that happened. I used 2 separate dice when I rolled the first one, so I've got 3 pods coming in, and that's it. But the good thing is, I'm on the bottom of the turn, which means, hopefully, provided my reserves come in turn 2, which, bearing in mind I can re-roll because of Dante, I shouldn't get tabled, and that's why I elected not to seize the initiative.
Well, you said it now.
So yeah, we'll come back after me 3 pods land. Right, so I elected to drop one of the tactical squad here. He landed, he was going for near the back, but he scattered forward, so at least that gets me objective 3 there. Down here, that pod got a direct hit with the tactical marines in. This one scattered back slightly. I was looking to try and block the lanes for the Land Raider that way, forcing it to go around here. Despite 3 melters here, 2 of them hit the Land Raider, neither of them penned. These guys I elected to go for the tactical marines. They're hoping to force them off the board for first blood. Didn't fancy my chances with a single melter shot. So one died to, in fact no, they both died to bolt guns. The melter failed to wound. They have passed the morale check, so they're not running. The Storm Bolters from the drop pods killed 1 sergeant from this tactical squad there, but I couldn't take another one out, unfortunately. Down here, the marines from back here and the Storm Bolter on the drop pod shot down, got a couple of hits, couple of wounds, but Josh passed all of his armour saves. So that scored me objective 3. I'm not going to discard the others, so that is 2 points to 1 at the end of turn 1, and I suspect Josh is going to be causing some blood now, so we'll see. Right, so these are Josh's cards. Just to point out, he is using these Necron ones, so 16 and 11 count as secure objective 6 and 1, and then he's still got secure objective 3. So these guys got to move through cover down on objective 6. The Dreadnought is still on objective 1. The only movement Josh has done is pull the Knight and the Vindicator forward, the Predator, and this is pivoted, and these 2 squads of Marines have lined up probably to rain some bolter fire down on these. So we'll come back after the psychic and shooting phase. Right, so Josh's shooting phase has been very productive. The multi-melter from there blew up the pod, which in turn killed 2 of the tactical Marines. One of the Marines there killed himself with the plasma gun, so actually they need to take a morale check, which we'll do in a moment. Meanwhile, all the Marines there fired the bolters down and killed another 2 of them. The Hurricane bolters and the assault cannon from the Land Raider took out the 5-man assault squad as well. This drop pod lost a whole point to...
Plasma gun.
Yep, the remaining plasma gun that was there. The last cannon that's here, the last cannon that's here took shots at it as well, but they both missed, unfortunately. The Predator also took shots but didn't do anything to it. The Knight and the Vindicator both shot down here, hoping to scatter onto the Marines as well, but instead stripped 2 hull points off the drop pod and it's lost its Storm Bolter. Meanwhile, the Knight also shot at Stubbers at this guy, only got 1 wound and passed his armour save. He has passed his morale check. So, at the end of Iron Serpent's turn 2, Josh has secured objective 1, he secured objective 6, and he got first blood, which puts the score at 5 points to my 1. So, hopefully the Blood Angels will have a better turn. Right, so my cards are still Decapitating Strike and Kingslayer. And Swift Advance. Josh has elected 2 of the objectives, which I'll point out in a moment, but as far as my reserves go, everything has arrived with Dante's reroll apart from the single pod with the melters in. So we'll show you the movement. So the Fire Raptors come on behind the Storm Ravens. The Storm Ravens have moved nearly the full distance up. The Lonely Melta Marine has moved back onto their objective, which Josh has elected as one of them because he basically wants me to get that point so that he can then open up a world of pain onto his next turn. And he also elected objective 6 down there, which I'm not going for. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't. There's objective 4, which I've not gone for. So obviously the Storm Ravens have come in here looking to get some nice shots down, and the Death Company and Dante have landed there. They're looking to hopefully charge, depending what happens in the shooting phase, possibly the Predator and the Marine squads there as well. So we'll come back after the shooting phase. Right, so down here, the Fire Raptor got a glance in on this drop pod with its autocannon. Meanwhile over here, despite 2 Storm Ravens firing down at the Land Raider and the Predator, although I got lucky and destroyed the Land Raider, the Predator is snap firing next turn due to that Melta guy there. The Fire Raptor looking down through here got a few shots in with the bolt cannon, took out 2 of the Marines here. We still need to roll their morale. Over here, this Knight lost a hull point to the multi-melter on the front of the Storm Raven there. The Death Company Dreadnought shot the side armour. Shield went up on the front though against the Storm Raven. The Death Company Dreadnought shot the side and rolled a 3, so he didn't even cause a glance against him, unfortunately. Down here, Dante and the Death Company shot down at the Terminators and killed one of them. Just to point out as well, in the explosion, Josh didn't lose any models, but I lost 2 Death Company. I rolled a 6 for the explosion range, caused 5 wounds, failed a few armours, and then obviously failed 2 armours, sorry, and they didn't pass any feel no pains. The Stormbolter here shot at them, and the Tactical Marines at the back also shot as well, but didn't cause any casualties. So that's it for the shooting phase. We'll now move on to the assault phase, because these guys and the Dreadnought are going to be assaulting. I think I'm probably going to do a multi-charge with these against them. Right, so in the assault phase, Dante and the Death Company decided just to do a single charge against the Terminators. Dante challenged and Josh's Sergeant accepted. He passed a lot of his invuns, but Dante's AP2 axe went through him. No wounds carried over, unfortunately. The Captain challenged the Chaplain, and I elected to hide the Chaplain. I want to make sure I keep getting Zealot. Death Company inflicted 19 wounds. They threw 5 attacks each on the charge. Wounds on 3s because of Furious Charge. And because I'm part of the Battle Strike Force, I went before the Terminators.
Before them anyway, they've got Thunderhammers.
Yeah, Thunderhammers, so they'd have gone last anyway. So I managed to take out the rest of the Terminators. The Captain with the AP2, what is it?
Burning Blade.
The what?
It's just called Burning Blade.
Oh, the Burning Blade killed one of the Death Company. The Librarian inflicted 2 wounds, and I passed both my field no pains. So at the end of my turn, oh actually, Death Company Dreadnought is dead. However, he got 3 pens on the night. He went first due to initiative 5 for charging, and he got 3 pens, and one of them I rolled a 6 for, and the Blood Talons AP2, which meant that I got an additional hull point. The Knight is down to 1 hull point. So I score 1 point for securing that objective there. I've still elected to keep hold of Decapitating Strike and Kingslayer. I may be regretting starving myself of points here, but we'll see what happens. Right, so Josh has drawn Secure 5, Secure 3, and Blood and Guts. So he's number 5, and as I don't have objective secured on that Tactical Marine, Josh is probably going to end up getting that one. Objective 3 is the one over here with the Blood Angels on. So for his movement, he has shuffled them Marines forward, as you can tell. These guys have come this way, probably looking to join this combat. Those guys have remained stationary. The Knight has shuffled ever so slightly, and all the Marines have stayed exactly where they are. The Storm Raven came in, and the Storm Talon as well, so I'm guessing he's looking to take out some of these. Psychic Phase he's already done. He has cast, which one was it? Iron Arm on himself, so he's hitting at strength 7. He tried to cast Enfeeble on me, but unfortunately didn't get it off. So we'll now move on to the shooting phase. Right, so shooting phase down here. The Storm Raven fired the assault cannons at this one. I elected not to jink, and unfortunately suffered a pen, and he is snap shooting next turn. This one, I did elect to jink, and against the Storm Talon, unfortunately I've lost a missile, so he's also snap shooting next turn. The rest of the shooting phase, the last cannon down there shot at the drop pod, passed its cover save, and the last cannon from over there shot down at it as well, and also passed its cover save there. The Vindicator did that, exploded the drop pod. The drop pod caused 5 wounds on the guys, and the Vindicator template actually scattered onto them, killing them all but one, and the explosion killed the last one as well. The Predator there snapshot the auto cannon at this pod, but didn't miss, unfortunately. It was snap shooting due to taking a hull point last turn. The Knight hasn't shot at anything, however. I think Josh wants to charge that pod and make sure it goes down to get blood and guts. So we'll come back after we've worked out the charge there and the assault down here. Right, so down here Dante challenged the captain, but the Librarian accepted. And unfortunately, despite Dante getting 4 wounds on the Librarian, he passed all of his 3-up invuns. Down here, the other 2 Marines charged in. The Power Sword guy cut one of them down, the other one passed his Feel No Pain, and the rest of them managed to get to kill the last guy and cause a single wound on the captain there. That does mean that based on that though, the Death Company lose the combat. However, they are fearless. I am going to choose to hit and run though. Initiative 6 on Dante, and they're out, so we'll resolve that in a few moments. But the Knight charged in, need the 3-inch charge, made it in, and wrecked the drop pod with his Hammer of Wrath. So as it stands at the minute, Josh secures objective 5, which scores him a point for that, and the Knight killed the drop pod, which is Blood and Guts. So that now puts the score at 7-2 to Josh. But yeah, we'll work out that hit and run, and I'll film it when I draw my cards. So down here, the Death Company have consolidated, just making sure that the Librarian and the Captain can't consolidate away from them, as I want them to charge back in next turn. In the meantime, the drop pod over here rolled its It Will Not Die and successfully got its whole point back. So we'll now move on to Blood Angels, turn 3. Right, so I've drew secure objective 1 and still got Decapitating Strike and Kingslayer. If I don't get them this turn, saying now he's down to 2 wounds, so we'll see what happens anyway. So there's objective 1. I elected not to go for it, but we'll see if I can get rid of the Dreadnought, see what happens. Anyway, down here, this Storm Raven has pulled back. 5 Marines with a melter jumped out there, and the other 5 are underneath there. They've got to move through cover to get through there. That drop pod landed before the Storm Ravens moved, so I've got the melters in a position where I've got both of them within 6 inches of the Knight and the Vindicator if these guys don't take the Vindicator out. We've then got a melter there and a heavy flamer looking to take out the Marines, and the Predator there, and the Storm Raven that was there is pulled back to this objective. These 2 are both snap firing and one of them's lost a missile. This one is still in flying mode, and I'm looking to hopefully get some shots in on that Storm Raven there. Ideally I'd have preferred an assault cannon one there, but never mind. I elected to fly the Fire Raptor off as I don't really have anywhere else to put it to optimise its firepower, and if I leave it on the board, it leaves it open for Josh to shoot at it, so I flew it off the board. Those guys have stayed exactly where they are, and they will be sending some shots towards the captain. So we'll move on to the shooting phase. Right, so the shooting phase has been abysmal for the Blood Angels this turn. They've shot down at the Predator, the Vindicator. The melter gun took 1 hull point off it. I chucked a crack grenade as well, and unfortunately nothing happened there. The 3 melters in that squad didn't get a single hit on the Knight. Down here, the heavy flamer. Heavy flamer and the bow pistol shot the Marines in the ruins. Didn't cause any wounds. Dante shot his Infernus pistol at the Warlord and missed. Meanwhile, down here, shot 2 missiles, the last cannon and the melter gun, and Josh managed to jink everything away. This guy got lucky and managed to strip a single hull point off the Dreadnought here, so he is shaken, so he can't shoot. And this guy was snap shooting as well, down at the Vindicator, didn't cause any casualty, didn't cause any hull points. The Marines that are under there shot up at them, and again, no casualties. So that's it for the shooting phase. Actually, these guys, I was going to go for either the Predator, the 3 Marines. I thought, nah, let's shoot the melter gun at the Warlord and see if we can strip another wound off him. Unfortunately, I did not. So that's it for the shooting phase. We'll now move on to the assaults. Right, so in the assault phase, these guys managed to take out the Vindicator. Furious charge, got a few glances and pens on it, so the Vindicator's gone down. Over here, these guys charged in, and we have a quick question because we don't know whether or not we've done this right. Dante challenged the captain, and the chaplain challenged the librarian. Dante swung first at initiative 7 because I charged, caused 3 unsaved wounds on the captain who had 2 wounds left. Josh failed a few of the saves and then failed the 3 feel no pains as well, which took the captain down at initiative 7. Based on the challenge rule, does that extra unsaved wound spill onto the librarian? Yes or no is the question. In the rest of the combat though, because we've read the rules and basically the unsaved wound would spill out into the rest of the unit. There is no rest of the unit other than the librarian, who is actually in a different challenge. So does he get allocated the wound? Yes or no, basically. The rest of the Death Company managed to inflict the last wound, if that one is allocated, to take out the librarian as well. So if we've done that correctly, it does get me Slayer the Warlord, Kingslayer, and Decapitating Strike. So for Kingslayer, I get 2 points, so that scores me 4 for taking out the captain there. We'll now move on to Josh's turn 4. Right, so Iron Serpent's turn 4. Josh drew secure 3, 2 and 4. We have done all of his turn. So these guys over here have moved forward and shot down and took out one of the Death Company. Those Marines with a plasma gun there managed to take out another one. The Predator shot down as well and didn't cause any wounds. These guys over here shot at these rapid fire with the bolters and didn't cause any wounds. What else happened? The Storm Raven come forward and shot down at this Storm Raven but didn't cause any damage. He was snap shooting due to me forced him to jink last turn. The Budgie took out the Storm Raven that was there. He was immobilised. What did he get immobilised from?
The Budgie. The Knight wrecked it.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, the Budgie immobilised him. He did elect to jink, and then the Knight got 2 direct hits with a battle cannon and got a glance and a pen, so that took that out. The Dreadnought made a beeline for objective 2 there, but unfortunately his move through cover and run wasn't quite enough. Down here, yeah, these guys dropped down out of the ruins and ran forward. Josh does have objective secured, and the Marines that were in there did have it until the Knight stomped on them. So at the end of that turn, Josh has scored secure objective 4, and he's elected to ditch which one? 3, which puts the score at 8-6 to the Iron Serpent. So we'll move on to Blood Angel's turn 4. Right, so Blood Angel's turn 4, we have drew Aerial Assault, Scour the Skies, and secure objective 2. So the Fire Raptor's come back on. He's coming this way, looking to get a shot down at the Budgie, the auto cannon at the Storm Raven there. Meanwhile, over here, we've got the 2 Storm Ravens coming to bear on the Knight. Tactical squad jumped out of the Death Company Storm Raven. Heavy Flamer looking for those guys, and the Melter looking forward at these. The Assault Marines have moved forward to either take on those Marines there or possibly shoot at the Knight, depending how they fare shooting. These Marines looking to either take out the Predator or possibly those Marines. And Dante and the Death Company that's left and the Chaplain have come up here looking to hopefully take those Marines out there. So we'll now move on to the shooting phase. After, however, I've moved those 5 guys. Right, so the Fire Raptors came back on. We have done the entire turn, so we'll just talk you through everything that happened. It unloaded 3 missiles and the bolt cannon at this. Josh passed every single one except one of his jinks. I think I caused, how many? 4 from the bolt cannon? 5? 5 from the bolt cannon and 3 from the missiles. And he only failed 1. I've shot the auto cannons at the Storm Raven. Josh elected not to jink. I didn't cause any damage there. Down here, this Storm Raven went up into flying mode, and he got lucky and did shoot down the Knight with his missiles, the multi-melter. The Knight scattered backwards though and didn't cause any damage. Meanwhile, this guy, he dropped to hover mode, but he got these guys out first. They were under there. He snapshot everything he had, and despite getting a couple of hits on the budgie, Josh jinked away. So never mind. Down here, 2 lots of Marines, the full 10-man tactical squad, 2 5-man combat squads, shot and charged at the Marines there. I lost 1 to Overwatch, and Josh passed his leadership despite losing combat by 2. These Marines and these ones took out the Marines that were here. These guys shot down at the Predator, got 1 hull point off it with a melter gun, and then they charged in, and thanks to Furious Charge managed to get a pen and take that out. Down here, Dante managed to take out the tactical Marines that were there. So that was everything that happened during the turn. Points that I scored, I did get aerial assault for destroying the Knight, and what was the other one? I didn't get Scour the Skies or Objective 2. I'm going to discard both of them. So we'll now move on to Iron Serpent, turn 5. Right, so Josh has drew behind enemy lines, secure 5 and secure 2. We've done all of his turn. Basically, the Marines here shuffled back to secure 5, and the bolters and the plasma gunner killed a couple of these guys here. Despite me going to ground, I filled all of my saves, so I lost 3 of them. The Storm Raven came this way and unloaded everything that they had. The Death Company went down to a missile, and Dante took a wound to the mass power coming in from the assault cannon and the Hurricane bolters. The Storm Talon came over this way, snapshot across at the Storm Raven but didn't do anything. It's still in flying mode, and these guys managed to take out the 2 tactical Marines that were remaining and consolidated, looking to hopefully take these guys out. So we'll now move on to, oh sorry, actually, secure Objective 2, and what was the other one? Behind enemy lines. So yeah, that scores Josh 3 points, which puts the score as it stands 11-7.
I also got 2 It Will Not Dies.
It does. Dreadnought gets it back. Dreadnought is back up to full 1.
Gets it back.
Oh my word. No way. The indestructible budgie. So we'll now move on to the Blood Angels, turn 5. Right, so the Blood Angels are trailing behind at 7 points to 11 at the minute. So I have drew Noble Self-Sacrifice. I don't think I can actually get Dante dead at this point. Behind enemy lines, can probably get that. Secure Objective 2, that's going to be a problem. So let's go and have a look and see what we can do. Right, so we've had a look, and it's going to be pushing it to the limit here. So this is Objective 2, and the Dreadnought has Line Breaker. So basically, if the game's going to end at this turn, the Dreadnought is going to basically win it for Josh. So I'm going to have to bear everything I've got here to get him off Objective 2. See whether or not there's any way that I can get something into hover mode near that and still kill the Dreadnought to score me that. Meanwhile, the infantry up here should be able to get me behind enemy lines. So, we're probably going to do the entire turn and we'll come back and see what happens. Right, so I've got a plan. Fire Raptor's dropped to hover mode. It's got no missiles left, looking to get at the side armour of that. This one's come here in case I do manage to blow it up or get rid of it to put flat out onto the objective. He, unfortunately, I did want to fly him 18, but I can't place him in this gap to be able to get line of sight down on the Dreadnoughts. So he's had to score 12 because of the terrain though. He's had to hang back there. He can only move 12 inches in hover mode. I'm still within the 24 for the melter, so I might get lucky. That melter gunner there is looking to hopefully get a lucky shot on this pod. And this melter gunner at the back of the Dreadnought. I think Josh getting that hull point back because of It Will Not Die was is probably going to make or break this shooting phase. Meanwhile, down here, those guys have shuffled that way. Those are turned round and these are heading for these 3 Marines here. Dante and the Chaplain are heading over that way. So that gets me the 3 for behind enemy lines. So yeah, we'll move on to shooting phase and we'll come back and see what I have done. Right, so this happened. The Dreadnought has gone down. The Mauler bolt cannon from the Fire Raptor has shot, took 2 hull points off it, and that would have taken it down if Josh hadn't getting these It Will Not Die last turn. So that saved him until the last cannon came hurtling in and ran straight through the rear armour of the Dreadnought, blowing him up. The Storm Raven then flattered out to secure Objective 2. And the drop pod went to Power of the Machine Spirit due to the Storm Raven there. Neither of the Melter Marines there managed to shoot. However, the Marines with the bolters and these guys here managed to cause a single casualty in the ruins. Josh did pass his leadership test though. Meanwhile, over here, these 2 lots of Marines shot down and took out one of the tactical Marines that was left. And then the 5-man squad charged in and took another one of them down. And Josh managed to pass his leadership test there as well. So, secure Objective 2 gets me up to 8 points. So we'll have to add the rest of the scores up to find out what the score is at the end of turn 5. Right, so that's the end of turn 5. I do score secure Objective 2. We have decided to call the game at this point as it's after midnight, so if I count my line breaker as well, that puts me at 9 points to Josh's 11. So I'll roll the D3 for behind enemy lines and this decides the game. And that's a 1. So, unfortunately, the Blood Angels have lost. Let's take a look around the table. Right, so that is the end of the game tonight. Josh's resilient Marines, the Iron Serpents, have prevailed despite taking heavy casualties. The Blood Angels, despite not having quite the first turn that they wanted, despite having probably, 50 Marines left on the board or something, have absolutely been walked over by the Iron Serpents. So, that's going to be Josh's last game with the Space Marine Codex. We're expecting him to come back fighting stronger with some of the new formations in the new book. So, yeah, that is it for tonight's game. Please check out the rest of the channel and like and subscribe. So, yeah, thanks very much, guys.